Hey guys, in this video I'll be making cabinets. Over the years I've collected a small, humble number of tools, but as you can see, everything has been getting piled up on top of the shelf right behind me here. So to build these, I bought shop grade 3/4 inch plywood. It's about the cheapest kind of plywood you can get, which means it's sanded on one side and butt ugly on the other. When I was at the big box store going through those sheets of plywood, I tried to pick the best ones, but they were all garbage, and I had an employee helping me, so I felt nervous and compelled to just take whatever was given to me. I thought about returning them and getting typical YouTuber Baltic birch plywood I see all the time, but I'm too cheap to do that for some simple shop cabinets that I'm only going to be using. Anyways, all the edges were rough, so what I had to do was make a cut oversized with the track saw and then take it over to this table saw and cut the other side to length. That way I had a clean edge on all four sides. Then I used pocket holes to secure all the panels together along with wood glue. The wood glue is the main source of strength, but the pocket holes allowed me to secure everything and keep working without having to wait for the glue to dry. Since one side of the plywood was ugly, I chose to leave the nicer side on the inside where you can see it. The outside of the carcasses will get butted up against each other, covering them up, and you will not be able to see them. Then, one at a time, I put them up on the shelf. This side was easy because I already had that shelf built and they just slide right on top. Then I screwed each box down to the shelf and to each other. On the other side of the garage, I had to mount the cabinets to the wall, and that was a bit trickier because gravity. What I did to mount them was screw a piece of plywood to the wall, then screwed each box one at a time to the plywood, making sure everything was level. I then screwed each box to the next one, tying everything together into one solid unit. For the wall-mounted ones, I didn't want to just screw the bottom of the shelf to the sides because, again, gravity. What I did instead was cut a slot to slide the bottom shelf into. That way it's nice and secure and there's no chance of them falling apart over time. At this point, I didn't have a dado saw for this part, which made this process take several more hours than it needed to. But I just took several passes, moving the fence each time until I had a 3/4 inch slot on all the sides. I then had to go back and use a chisel to clean these up. Because I was using cheap plywood that was super soft, I used a dull chisel that way I could aggressively plow through all the garbage without the chisel digging into the bottom of the channel. On the end cabinet next to the door, I had to take the corner off and add this bevel looking side. That way when you walk through the door you aren't immediately getting hit in the face with that corner. Now to make the shelf the same shape, I just traced it from the bottom and then used my ruler that's 3/4 of an inch wide to trace another line, compensating for the thickness of the material. And then I cut off that corner with a skill saw. Using other parts for the shelves as spacers, I secured the shelves with pocket holes. Since these are my cabinets, I didn't care to drill a bunch of holes for pegs, because I have no intention of moving the shelves around. If I really needed to, I could unscrew the shelves and move them, but it would make the insides ugly and, well, I'm okay with that. I also didn't add pegs because the cabinets in my kitchen have them, and they are a pain because they fall all the time and it's annoying. Anyways, these cabinets will have face frames, and what I used for the face frames was white pine. And to keep them nice and square, I clamped them to a flat surface and then glued and pocket hole screwed them from the back. Then to secure the face frames to the cabinets, I used a brad nail gun with wood glue. And you can see some of the glue dripping right there if you look in the top left corner. Starting at the bottom, I tacked in one corner, then went to the other corner making sure it was level. Then proceeded to add nails everywhere while applying pressure. Now for the doors, I needed to cut a channel in the rails and stiles, but since I still didn't have a dado saw, I just lined up my fence so that I could make one pass, then flip the board over and make a second pass, giving me a 1/4 inch channel. This kind of worked, except a lot of the wood was not the same thickness or even all that straight, so I had to go back with the chisel and clean everything up, which took days instead of hours. Later I did end up buying a dado saw, and oh man, did it make this process way easier, and it took a fraction of the time. Here I'm gluing everything together. Kind of took a lot of finagling because nothing fit together perfectly like it should, but with a few taps from a rubber mallet, I was able to get everything into place, and then I just took a wet rag and wiped off all the excess glue. Then I let them dry overnight before I started drilling out all the holes for the hardware. And that's about it. Thanks for watching. If you wish to support me, please like and subscribe. I'm also on TikTok and Instagram, and now I have a website where I'm selling merch. And you can contact me on my website if you're interested in me building custom furniture or a guitar.